The COM portal web is the IP address or the web address that you need to go to is listed here. It is exactly the same as the getting into your personal COM portal, except that it has the BG after it. Okay, so it exactly the same thing. https://cloudnow.uccomportal.com/BG for business group. And that login is going to look just like this. Some people get confused because it looks exactly like the personal COM portal login. So you do have to be set to be a business group admin in the backend system. If you go to log in to uccomportal.com/BG and it tells you don't have access, please reach out to Christine or I and we can give you access to admin your system. But that window does look exactly like it does when you log into the personal COM portal. So
Amy,
again,
can we get a copy of these slides?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
thanks.
I am not a huge PowerPointer, so I just have a couple little report sample and the login, but I will absolutely send that out to you because I really like to show things live. I am recording this as well, and so I will send everyone a link to the recording, and then you can just go back and forward or back to the pieces that you want. Okay, so when I go to log in, I'm going to enter in my telephone number and my password and click login. Okay, so the business group admin looks a little bit different than the personal COM portal that you're logging into. And so there are a lot of different pieces of this. You can see over on the left-hand side, this is my menu. We don't have time enough to go over every single thing in this training, so I've picked a few things that we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to talk about the users. How to change names and passwords on those users specifically. Then we're going to talk about the what's called an incoming call manager and the auto attendant and how we program those. Then we'll talk about programming buttons on the phones, the music on hold, and some call analytics or call reporting capability. So that's kind of the way we're going to go through this. Firstly, we're going to go into the users. So I can choose to go into the users from the right-hand side menu or from the center of the screen. One of the orange bubbles is for users, and I can click on users there, and it doesn't matter how you get there. Firstly, I want you to remember with this system, just like when we logged in, everything with the system is based on a 10-digit number. So, yes, you might have a 3-digit or 4-digit extension number, but when you're doing anything with this system having to do with programming, our system likes 10-digit numbers. And so you can see everything that is inside my users is based on a 10-digit number. So this is our demo system that we have here in the office. And so you can see this is me. So I have this telephone number, 385-743-2900. I also have a 4-digit extension number that I can be accessed with. But most everything with this system is done using that 10-digit number. So when I go into users, again, by clicking over on the side or in the center of the screen where I saw users, I can go in and reset people's names or change their password really easily. So if I wanted to change my own name, okay, I could just click on actions and I'm going to edit my personal details. Okay, so I would click on edit personal details, that pops up and I can go ahead and change my name. Really, really easy. If I wanted to change someone's password, what I would do at that point is click on View Individual Settings, the first one, okay? And that comes up to where I can actually open up the call manager and change my settings. Oops. It popped up too fast. Okay, so I've got change password, change voicemail PIN. Okay, so when you're looking at those personal settings, you can go in and change the password. If I were to click on change password, I'm going to actually type in what that new password is. Okay, so I'm not just resetting it to default, I'm actually typing in a password. And then you do have to confirm those changes. So really super easy when we're going to change passwords. Another thing that I can do is maybe I have a new employee. So maybe I want to reset that whole line. Okay, I would change the name under the edit personal details, but if I reset that line, it's going to reset the voicemail box back to its default. It's going to put the tutorial back on the voicemail and reset that password back to default. So remember, the default password with the system is, so the password to log into COM Portal by default is capital T, capital R, capital I, capital T, 3833. So it's trite 3834 for Tritel, right? So trite 3834 is our default. The default PIN for the voicemail is just the 3834 part. And so if you do a reset line, it's going to reset the voicemail back to 3834 as the PIN, and it will reset the password for them to log into COM Portal or into their Macs or a session user with that trite 3834. So that's what that reset line does. The other thing people ask about is if you enter your password incorrectly 3 times, it locks your account. So you will be unable to log into your account if you type in the password 3 times incorrectly. When you try and log in the 4th time, it will say, I'm sorry, your account is locked. Please contact an administrator. You can absolutely contact us and we can reset those, unlock those accounts. But you as an administrator can do that as well. And so the unlock account would allow them then to be able to enter in the correct information. So you may need to actually go in and view the individual settings to reset their password. If they've entered it incorrectly 3 times, they probably can't remember what it is. So you probably need to go in and reset the password in the individual settings and then go ahead and unlock the account. So pretty much that's what you're going to do with the users themselves. Most of the time that view individual settings or edit personal details. One thing is if you have a lot of users that are programmed in your system, you might not want to have to sit and look down for that user. You can use the search functionality. And so in this case, I'm going to look for our main telephone number because the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was the incoming call manager. So what an incoming call manager is and allows us to do is to change the routing of the system easily. And so most of your incoming call managers are named main number. If you look through your users and you can't figure out which one is where is your incoming call manager, just reach out to Christine or I and we will tell you. And we can absolutely change the names on those so that they match, it makes sense to you. But what an incoming call manager gives you the ability to do is to program things based on time of day. So just like I did when I was looking at my Amy Duncan user, I went to view my personal settings, and then here I am looking at my call manager. So it gives me a little bit of information on the front end here, what time of day am I actually in. If I was looking at this after my working hours, so at 5:02 tonight, I would see when I receive a call, used my closed rules, and it will tell me what those are. Of course, if I'm going to go in and do some programming there, I'm going to actually need to access my call manager to change that programming. So I click on Go to Call Manager, and there I have it. So on my surface, it opens up within the same COM Portal window, and I like it to be just a little bit bigger than this. And so there is a button down on the bottom that says open this in a new window. I have noticed that it depends on the computer that you're using as to whether it will open by default in a new window or it asks you if you want to open it in a new window. And so again, on my surface, I do every time have to click open in a new window, but some computers will do that all by itself. Okay, so here I am at my incoming call manager. Oops, what am I doing here? Okay, appreciate you. Let's see. Okay, we'll go again. It doesn't like my big window today. All right, so we're opening up the call manager. The page that it takes me to by default is the summary page. So you can forward to a specific number handle calls by time of day, or ring a specific phone. So we're talking about the main telephone number here. So what happens when you're open and what happens when you're closed? Most everyone has handle calls based on time of day. And so then I have to set my rules and my schedule. So most businesses have different things that happen to their calls during working hours and non-working hours. So my rules tell me what exactly happens. So when I look at my normal hours, or yours might say open hours, I can see exactly how that's set up. So when I click on normal, then I could edit what happens during those normal hours. And so it might be ringing just one phone. It might be forwarding somewhere. It might be playing a message specifically. Most of the time we've got, one of these two sets of rules. You might see in here under forward to, you might see a phone number that starts with 480153. Those numbers are what we use to program the auto attendant. And so if your calls are answered by auto attendant both day and night, then you might see a forward to and then have a 480 number here. So if you have questions that are specific to your system, or when you look at it, it's like, oh, that really doesn't quite jive with what I had expected to see, please reach out to us and we'll tell you, oh yeah, that's a hunt group. Maybe you've got a group of people that are ringing on incoming calls. And so your incoming call manager will have that forward to a hunt group or forward to the auto attendant. And so you'll see different little things in there. And again, please reach out if you have questions there. Let's see. So those are the rules. Then I have my schedule. So when am I going to be open and when am I going to be closed? Okay, come on, little guy. It's taking its sweet time. There it goes. Okay. So then I have my schedule. So when do those messages play? And so this system is really super easy to use. So if I was going to change my working hours, so right this minute, I'm open at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, and I would be open clear until 6 o'clock at night on Monday. Well, that's not really true. I'm not really open until 6. We're only open until 5. So to take that off, I just have to click it and it turns white. That means it's outside my working hours, and then it would be handled based on those nighttime rules rather than my working hour rules. You can, take it, you can add it back on, you change your hours here. Maybe we're going to be open on Saturday at 10, so I can just fill those in or take them back off. So really easy and really visual as far as making that schedule goes. You can create multiple schedules, multiple sets of rules. So, some people have lunch hours that are programmed in there. And so say that I was going to be closed during lunch. This one has lunch here. And so if I'm going to be closed during lunch, we'll just click that, and I can click and drag too. So if I'm holding my mouse down, I can drag and fill in the whole entire week that way. Okay, so really easy. One thing when you're making changes in here that you need to pay attention to is anytime you see apply, you do have to actually press that apply button. Otherwise, it's not going to save your changes. So kind of keep that in mind. The last little panel here is our special days. So if you go into special days, then you can actually say that July 4th is a holiday. And so if it's highlighted like that, and I applied the rule, it would play my holiday greeting on that day. So every year you can call us and we can set up your holidays for the year, or you can go in and do this yourself and set up your holidays. Or maybe you just decide, okay, for the 4th of July, we're going to be closed on the 3rd, on Friday the 3rd, but we're also going to be closed on Monday the 6th. So you can go in and add those dates in yourself. So those are really the things as far as the incoming call manager goes, just talking about how those route. Now, as far as the attendant itself, so let's close out of this. If you don't click apply, or if you make a change and you haven't applied that change, as you go to move to a different page, you saw that window pop up, it will say, oh, hey, did you mean to save this change? And so then you can say, yes, I want to save that. That's pretty much users themselves. So let's talk about your auto attendant. So when you click on attendance, it gives you any automated attendants that are programmed in the system. So it opens up just exactly like the incoming call manager did, okay, where I can see my information. If I'm going to actually want to change this, I'm going to need to open the attendant settings. So the auto attendant that we have in our system is a premium auto attendant. It's something that you pay a little bit extra for, that gives you multiple menus. So you could have, say like press 1 for customer service, and then they push 1, and then it goes to a message that says press 1 for Amy, press 2 for Christine, press 3 for Kathy. So it gives you that multiple layers. It also lets you do some timeout options and things like that. Most of you don't have this premium auto attendant. So we're going to actually look at this one, which is a customer. So thank you, Debbie and Cindy. We're going to be using yours. Okay. So let's just pop this over here. All right, it's taking its sweet little time. Okay, so here we go with an auto attendant. So the basic auto attendant is, it looks just like this. We're gonna go into a schedule. That's the very first thing. So just like in that incoming call manager where we're actually scheduling the open and close hours, you can schedule those exactly the same way. So, if I wanted to actually be open at 8 rather than at 9, okay, you can zoom in so that you can see things in 15-minute increments rather than in the hour increments. So if you were going to really open at 9:30 rather than 9 o'clock, we could easily take that out. So sometimes looking at that 15-minute increment is the way we want to go. Then you have what happens during the day. See, again, there's that message, oh, hey, you made a change, but you haven't saved it. Are you sure you want to leave this page? And in this case, I don't want to make any changes to their system. So we'll just move on. In my business hour menu, it gives me the choice of what do I want to do here. So in this system, if somebody wanted to press 1, then they could dial in the extension number 1105 to be transferred to a specific extension. Now, option number 2, it actually forwards to extension 207. It rings extension 207. My choices here, when you click on that, is it can be unassigned. It can play a specific announcement. It can transfer directly to a phone. It can transfer directly to voicemail, or it can be a dial by extension or a dial by name choice. If you want to have some kind of like timeout options and things like that, that's when you'd need to move to the premium auto attendant. The greeting itself is programmed over on the right-hand side. Here's the greeting. We can click listen.
Thank you for calling Helga.
Okay, so there's the greeting. If I wanted to download that greeting so I would have it on my computer, I can do that. I can also upload announcements. So what I do when I'm changing a message for either one of you guys or for our own system, what I do is I record a voicemail message to myself. So, I get my auto attendant, thank you for calling. This is Amy. Please leave a message. And then I leave the message. Thank you for calling Tri-Tel Networks. If you have an emergency service call, press 5 now. If you'd like to leave a message for someone, press 2. And I just record that message into my own voicemail. Then I can download that message out of my voicemail and upload it into my auto attendant. And so it makes it really super easy where you don't have to have that microphone connected to your computer all the time. Just do it from your cell phone, do it from your desk phone, and leave yourself a message, and you can get that there. When you click on upload announcement, it gives you the ability to choose a file. You can just pick, wherever you've happened to save that file. Okay, so you do have different things that happen in the daytime versus nighttime. So my non-business hour menu is here. Again, I've got my greetings, and I can make any of those choices and change what happens there. The last field is for extensions. If you're going to use a dial by name directory, it's important that people's names are recorded. And so if you need to record people's names, okay, so in this case, these ones have already been recorded. The ones that say override, these ones have not been recorded. So if I wanted Angie to be part of this dial by name directory, I would need to record her name. And as the administrator, I can do that. Had she gone through the tutorial in her mailbox to set that up, then she could record her name from through that tutorial as well. So that's something people ask for with the dial by name directory, is you do actually have to have those extension names recorded. But that's just kind of a basic overview of how the auto attendant works. And again, even though this is the premium auto attendant, it has those same choices. So you've got, the schedule, you've got the menus. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility there. The next thing that I wanted to talk about are the phones themselves. So if you wanted to maybe change buttons on people's phones, phones is a choice right here. We click on the phone. These are a list of the phones that are programmed in the system. If you click on any one of the phones, it allows you to change the displayed name on that phone. It also is, this phone is attached to this telephone specifically. So say that you wanted to change, you got somebody new in there and we wanted to change their name and their extension number, we could actually assign that to a different telephone number if we wanted. With IP phones, most of the time people are taking their device with them. When I move from one office to another, I take my phone with me. But you can absolutely assign that to a different device, to a different telephone number, or change the name for that person. If I want to change the buttons, I'm going to click on Actions and I'm going to configure the phone. That pops me up a brand new window, and it will show me the phones that have ever been attached to that person. So in this case, we have multiple phones because we're doing this all the time for people changing, let's try this phone out, let's try that phone out. So most of you will only see one kind of phone listed in here. We'll go in and actually edit that phone, and it will pop up. One little caveat while this is opening here is that this does give you the ability to change some configuration settings in the phone. I would recommend that you do not do that. When I told our technicians that we were going to be doing this training class, he's like, make sure that you tell him not to change all the other settings. All right. So down inside of the features and the preferences and the networks, there are some other settings that are in there that actually make the phones communicate back to the system. If you mess it up, just call us and we'll fix it for you. But the lines themselves, the programmable line keys, is really where you're going to be in there. So to change a kind of button, you're just going to click on the key itself. Right this minute, this isn't programmed. You can just click down on there, see all of the different things that we can program it to be. One button that some of you may not have that you want is the ability to do intercom. So if you have an intercom button, if I have this intercom button programmed on my phone, I can program in a specific intercom. So say that I wanted to intercom straight into Christine's office. I can enter in her extension there and call it intercom KBE. And that would only just intercom into Christine. If I just call it intercom and take the extension out, then it becomes a plain intercom key to where I could press the intercom key and then the Christine button and it would intercom Christine, or press the intercom and then the Kathy button and it would intercom Kathy. So you can program that in either way. You may want to have a forward key. What enhanced monitor extension is the buttons for other people. So if this phone has an Amy key programmed on it and it's an enhanced extension monitor. So that means that when I get on the phone, this phone will see a light on my phone that telling them that they're on the phone. I can also, when a call is ringing on my phone, that button will flash so that I can answer that using the enhanced extension monitor key. You could make a conference button that does show up as a soft key on the phone itself, but you could do a conference key if you wanted, or a do not disturb key. If you have any questions about what any of these buttons do, feel free to reach out and we'll go over them individually. But all of these phones are paperless labels, and so you do need to make sure whatever you choose for the button to do, that you actually type in a label. Okay. Once you've made whatever changes you want in there, then you can save your changes. Okay, down here on the bottom, make sure you save those changes and you'll be good to go. So really easy to program buttons on the phones. Music on hold. So the music on hold is again down on the left-hand side menu close to the bottom. So we'll go into music on hold here. This is something that I just learned recently, so it should be new to all of you. I was under the impression that we were kind of stuck unless you paid a little bit extra to have custom music on hold with the default music on hold. But I have learned that you can change your music on hold to one of a number of default musics that are in there. And so when you click on music on hold, you can go in and edit, and then you can choose whatever of these pieces of music that are in there. These are, they're kind of gives you a little difference in genres there. You could change it for Christmas to the 12 Days of Christmas, First Noel, Deck the Halls. You got some different ones in there. But it at least gives you a little bit different than just the traditional Greensleeves-esque music that is in there. If you want to hear any of those pieces of music, I started out here on mappings. That's where it takes you to. If you click on resources, then it lets you actually download and listen. So if I wanted to listen to Kickin', for example, I can click on that and it downloads it, and then I could listen to it.
Yay!
Okay.
This is so awesome. One thing that people will complain about is the music on hold, because it's not, it's pretty basic, but now it's not. So now you can pick whatever you want, and not just for the entire business group, but for...
Yes, absolutely. So that you can even go in. So under these mappings, okay, see how I have my default here? And so this is what's going to play by default, but I do also have 15 different things that I can program. So I can pick any of the telephone numbers that are in my system. Okay, this was me, right? 385-743-2900. And so if I want my own different music on hold than what's in the system, I can absolutely pick it. Okay, so I could say, okay, I want the Deck the Halls to be my music on hold, which I'm actually going to keep. So here's another thing that I think is awesome that is different about this system than some of the other systems that we have, is that see how it says starting point is set to start? My other choice is random. So sometimes you want it to always, when I put you on hold, you want it to start at the beginning of the track. Or sometimes you might want it to be random. And so I think that it's cool that this system allows you to have that choice on a per user basis. So I think that's cool. So that's the music on hold. The call analytics is the last piece that I wanted to talk about today, and it's right above music on hold. So this is something that they added probably 6 months ago, is the ability to do these call analytics. And so the system that we're using is a demo system, so you don't see tons and tons in here. That was the last thing that I put in the PowerPoint presentation, was just so you can kind of see this in this system. They've got oh, whoops, it went to my other screen. I should have practiced with this part a little bit beforehand. So let's just make this a little bit bigger. All right, so you can kind of see. So it breaks up the internal calls, incoming and outgoing, answered calls, and unanswered calls. And so you can see that at a graphical view. The next one down is your average call duration. And so those are the two graphical ones that are the most common. But you can, the alerting duration is how long it rang, how long the call rang on a specific person's phone before they were answered. So that summary information is kind of nice. If you hover over top, it will tell you more information about that. So, if I hovered here, I could see that I made 5 outgoing calls just based on that. The reports that are in there, so you can create a new report. The report types that you have, call log, you can do a call duration, frequent calls, long calls, missed calls, short calls, who's talking the most of people in our office, traffic by day or by hour, and then specific user information. And so you just pick, so if we wanted this to be a report that I was going to schedule, I could name it whatever I want, pick the type of report that I want here. If I wanted it to be based on a specific extension number, you could put the extension number or the 10-digit number in here. Then what is my schedule? Is it a one-of report? Do I want to see this report every day, every week, every month? And do I want to send this report to someone? So I could enter in an email address or multiple email addresses in here and have that report be scheduled and generated every day or every week.
So Amy, can I ask a question here?
Absolutely.
On your line filter, can you put multiple numbers in there? So if we want to pull that on 3 specific people or a team of people, can we just do that in there?
Yes, absolutely can. And I will have to, I can't remember if it's a semicolon or if it's a comma that you put in between those. So I will do some testing after we're done with this call, and then I'll let you know exactly what that is. Because yeah, you can totally do as many extension numbers or users as you want there. Here's your date range, when you want to start that, the days of the week. So when you click, it just pulls down a calendar. So if I wanted to, find something from Monday to Friday from a specific time, if you want, you can just pick a specific date in here if you wanted to do that. And then you just run your report. So, really easy. Again, this is a test system that we have, so I don't have a ton of information. What I would recommend is just to go in and take a look at what these reports will give you and, see how that goes. If you needed to download the actual logs in the system, so those reports are going to give you, just basic reporting information. But if I needed to actually download the files themselves, the raw data files, I can go into the download logs and actually download the call information. So it would have every piece, this was the date and time. It rang to the auto attendant first. It rang there for 15 seconds. Then it rang to this user. So it's really granular information. Also could be then imported into some other reporting tool. If you used Crystal Reports or something like that, those logs themselves can be downloaded into some other reporting tool. This call analytics, like I say, is fairly new. They are making updates and changes to it on a regular basis. If you have suggestions as to other things you want to see in the call reports, please let us know, and we can then provide those to the manufacturer.